Attention, the main currency of the modern world. In the previous lesson, we analyzed value, the modern way of creating it, and how you can do it in literally 2, 3, or 4 months, in the shortest possible time. So, friends, I hope that at this stage you have already decided on the value you will bring to the world, or you have determined the way you will create this value through knowledge, experience, and results. Boom, value. We bring it to the world. Yes, friends, because we are not just watching videos here. We create an action plan on a daily basis and follow it. This is the only way we will produce real results. Now that the value is clear, here is the truth. If no one knows about your value, it is worthless. Therefore, our task, having recognized our value, is to draw attention to it. And this, friends, is the topic of our video today: attention. Attention as the main currency of the modern world. The attention economy. We live in an attention economy. In Rockefeller's time, oil was the main source of wealth. Today, friends, the main monetary raw material, if I may put it that way, is attention. The reason is simple. Never before has the internet existed in a form that allows you to skip paying millions of dollars to anyone, skip fighting against insane competition, and skip trying to break into television, where it is impossible to get through without connections. Sitting at home, my friend, you can shoot content and attract millions of eyes to your product or service. Millions of eyes, millions of people. Never before in the history of planet Earth has there been such an opportunity, and only in the last 10 to 15 years has this opportunity become widely available and popular. That is why we live in an attention economy today. Because if you learn how to operate properly within this economy, my friend, money, freedom, respect, recognition, a fulfilling life, service to the world, and personal satisfaction are all guaranteed to you. So this is a pretty important topic. Let's figure it out. Why attention matters. Attention is critical because, today, people are ready to buy your value. If you have already identified your value, say, you've built a strong physique, you are a psychologist, you offer a service, or you've mastered a particular skill, understand that there are thousands, even hundreds of thousands of people willing to pay you for your knowledge, your service, your results, and the path you have already walked. They want a quick solution. There are already thousands of people ready to give you their money. You only have one problem today. They don't know you. They don't know that you exist, that you figured this out, decided, solved it, perhaps obtained an education, accumulated knowledge, and created results. They don't know that you are ready to help them do the same, and that they could pay you for that help. That is why your task, friends, is to fix this. That is what this module is dedicated to. How do we solve this problem? In the modern world, there is only one tool that solves the issue of your value being unknown. And that tool, friends, is content. Content is king. I haven't discovered America here, I hope. Content is king. And through content, you can reach millions of people. Think about it this way. On any given day, you could go and just train, just work, just practice your craft. That session would remain unnoticed by anyone, except perhaps a couple of bystanders. But instead, you take your phone, you take a camera, and you do the same activity while filming it. You film it, you create the content. You take that content and put it on YouTube or Instagram. Years later, that single piece of content might be viewed by hundreds of thousands of people. That is the power of content. A single day captured on camera lives on. It continues to bring in clients, subscribers, and new followers years later. That is why, my friend, content is king. You need to focus all your efforts on understanding the topic of content and start creating it to attract attention to yourself and to your value, the two platforms that matter. So what tools do we have for this? Let's break it down without pouring water on the topic. Instagram and YouTube. These two platforms are the most important, the most popular, the most advanced in terms of sales tools, and, most critically, they have the most powerful search and discovery algorithms for surfacing new content, meaning your content. If you go to Telegram, there are 0 discovery algorithms. You could post for the rest of your life and end up with 0 subscribers. No one will ever find you, even if you post legendary content. Post that same legendary content on YouTube or Instagram, and the algorithm will find you, attention will find you, eyes will subscribe and follow, and they will be ready to pay you for your value. You might say, wait, what about TikTok? TikTok is a strong discovery engine, But it has been proven and tested by many people that TikTok's audience is mainly younger, unfocused, not ready to pay, and primarily looking for entertainment. We're not playing that game. Of course, you can connect TikTok later. It's elementary. But at the start, I suggest choosing your focus. Ideally, you can pick one or two platforms, and these two giants are the most powerful for attracting attention and creating content. The plan. Where to begin now? The plan. You have value. There is Instagram. There is YouTube. What do you do? How do you start creating content? Where do you begin? How do you film? How do you cover topics? How do you edit? Let me show you the simplest method. There are many ways to create content. Complex methods, specialized methods, many different formats, but I'll show you the simplest one, which gives you access to large viewership numbers from the very first piece of content you create. Number 1. With your first piece of content, you have the opportunity to do everything correctly. Not to throw something at the wall and hope it sticks. Not to invent a bicycle and pray it rolls. With this method, you can be roughly 90% sure of what you are doing. Number 2, you have a real chance at high view counts. And number 3, this method is ideal for starting from scratch. Step 1. Identify your mentors. The first step is to choose 5 to 10 leaders in your niche on Instagram and YouTube. Most likely, you already know who some of them are. After all, if this is your value, if you've been gathering knowledge on this topic, what is the main source of that knowledge? YouTube and Instagram. You are already subscribed to bloggers in this space. You follow this topic, you develop in this topic, you see how others present things. So you probably already know 1, 2, or 3 of these leaders. Add a few more until you have 5 to 10. You select these people not as competitors. You do not perceive them as enemies who must be defeated. You perceive them as your mentors. These people are already where you want to be. They have already figured out how to shoot content, how to title it, how to promote it, how to package their products, how to make introductions, how to edit, and what formats work. They have made many mistakes already and have arrived at working systems that you now have the opportunity to study, draw inspiration from, and use to build your own online empire. You choose these mentors based on view counts, attention they receive, subscriber numbers, and how much you personally connect with what they are doing. Maybe the top 3 don't resonate with you, but the 4th, 5th, and 8th do. Perfect. Use those. When you have identified your top 5 to 10 mentors, do not just consume their content passively anymore. You are now a student in maximum practice mode, ready to absorb and implement. Step 2. Study the top performing content. Next, select the top content by views from the last 6 months. 6 months is a guideline. 3 months works, 6 months works, 12 months works, but stick to recent material. Don't analyze something that was relevant 9 years ago. Focus on what was relevant 3, 6, or 12 months ago. Content that you are capable of producing yourself. When you see a thumbnail and a title on YouTube or a Reels format on Instagram, ask 2 questions. First, did this content perform well relative to that creator's average? If a channel averages 30,000 views and one video has 300,000, that one stands out. Second, am I capable of recreating something similar? Do I have enough charisma, expertise, speaking ability, and editing skill? If the editing is too complex, can I simplify it? You don't need to copy one-to-one. I'll explain how to handle this in a moment. But you need a video you can confidently produce. Once you've identified these examples, write them out. You can compile 5 to 10 or 10 to 30 examples. List the titles, describe the thumbnails, note what catches the eye, and for Reels, save the ones that performed well and that you are ready to recreate. As you do this, you'll start to notice patterns. These words appear in the opening hooks. This phrasing repeats across successful Reels. This is what flies in this niche. You become a student of success in your specific space. You study what worked and why it worked. If you dedicate just one day to this, selecting the top mentors, watching their content, choosing the top performers, writing out the titles and thumbnails, saving the reels, and analyzing the hooks, you will end up with so many ready-to-implement ideas that you didn't even dream of having the night before. This is step 2. Conduct your market research, study your niche, and prepare your list. Step 3. Start filming. Once your research is complete, start filming immediately. Don't be afraid. Don't think the time hasn't come yet. Don't tell yourself you aren't ready, that you need to buy an epic camera first, that you need to move into a better apartment number you have a phone. That is enough. Turn on the light and start shooting. Start making the best content you can today. with the knowledge you have today in the place where you are today. It is critical to begin now with what you have. How to create the content. So, how do we actually create the content? Let's start with Instagram. You have your list of top-performing reels, ideas you are capable of recreating. You do not want to copy these videos one-to-one. That is unattractive. It does not strengthen your brand. It does not develop your creativity, and it does not build your ability to create something from nothing, a skill you will absolutely need as a content creator. Here is the key insight. Those videos didn't get massive views purely because of the value inside them. The middle section, the actual advice, the steps, the tips, was not the primary driver of success. Roughly 75% of a reel's success comes from two elements, the idea and the hook. The idea is the concept itself, how it begins, what unfolds, the sequence of action. The hook is the opening, the first words, the first question, the line that stops you from scrolling past in the first 3 seconds. When you scroll endlessly through your feed and suddenly stop on one video, that is the hook at work. So what you take from a successful reel is the idea and the hook. That is what made it perform, and that is what you need. But, and this is the secret, the rest of the content, the actual value being delivered, you fill in yourself. Based on your own expertise, your own knowledge, what you've learned through personal experience, the results you've created, and perhaps the results your clients have achieved. This way, you produce a reel that has the structural elements proven to drive views while presenting unique content that is genuinely yours. No one can accuse you of plagiarism, and you grow as a creator who took an idea and shaped it with his own thinking. You take the first 3 to 5 seconds, the structural hook, and you create everything else yourself. There are some reels where you can rearrange even the hook, but I don't recommend that at the start. Once you understand which hook variations preserve the magic and which ones kill it, you can improvise. At the start, our task is to capture attention first. Improvisation comes later. For YouTube, the equivalent of the hook is the thumbnail and the title. These are the two main factors that drive a video's success. Of course, what's inside matters. Audience retention, content quality, sound, presentation, all of it plays a role. But it doesn't matter how good the inside is if the thumbnail and title are weak, because no one will ever click. So you take the thumbnail and the title from your research, and you fill the inside with your own material. Share what you know, what worked for you, what you have lived through. Don't try to fake content you've never produced. Speak from your own experience, and you will deliver it with completely different energy, passion, and conviction, because you believe in it. Posting frequency and consistency now. Posting frequency. For Instagram, one reel per Dalton Y is excellent. Not crazy speed, but optimal, a pace the algorithm welcomes and one you can realistically sustain. You can batch shoot for a week in advance and then release one reel daily. For YouTube, one high-quality video per week is the sweet spot. Solid thumbnail, full content, polished delivery. But here's the crucial part. None of this matters if you quit early. You can forget everything I just said if you are going to make 3 videos and 9 reels and walk out the door saying, "Thanks, nothing worked, goodbye." Consistency is critical. Consistency is everything. This is a long-term game. There is no quick result in any niche. Yes, results can come in a month, 2, 3, or 6, but not in 3 reels, not in 9 videos. Don't expect that. You are entering a long game. Prepare for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. Fix that mindset. Start filming, and find joy in the process itself. Most likely you won't need 2 or 3 years to see results, but the long-term commitment is the only mindset that works. When you approach this whole process saying, "I am ready to work for the long haul," you become unstoppable, because there are no quick results anywhere in any field. The reward is worth it. Compare this path to working a regular job. 6 months of grinding for a tiny pay raise of 50 cents an hour. 8 months of work for marginal gains. Here, my friend, there is no ceiling. There is freedom of location. Live anywhere, work from anywhere, serve people from anywhere. Take a vacation today. Rest for a day, 2 days, 3 days. The system will work. A properly built system continues working. There is genuine financial freedom. The ceiling on earnings does not exist. Everything depends on your actions, your creativity, your drive, your hunger. 6 months of regular work pays off poorly. 6 months of work here can pay off in ways that feel like another universe. Keep that in mind. The reward is truly worth it. So fix this in your mind and get to work. Everything we cover in personal development combines perfectly with everything you will create here. Building systems, building consistency, destroying the inner dialogues of weakness that whisper, "Brother, there are no views, let's quit." You combine the tools of self-mastery with the tools of content creation, earnings, income, and attention. At the intersection of the best version of yourself and the knowledge of how to deliver that best version to the world through content, that is where your explosion lies. That is where your success lives. Combine these two things. Stay in touch daily, stories, posts, consistent presence. Walk shoulder to shoulder with your audience. Forward, higher, further. Get high on life itself. Giving up is not an option because you have all the knowledge, all the environment, all the feedback, and all the support you need to succeed, to create a better version of yourself and give it to the world. By doing this, my friend, you receive everything the world can give you in return: money, freedom, recognition, satisfaction, and the thrill of being fully alive. Let's do it. Let's take what is ours. Forward.